Part 2. I don't like unfinished jobs. The SIM card was full. Have I really been talking so much bullshit today that the SIM card's full? So, as I was saying, my elder brother, he didn't agree with the old man's policies. And he always wanted to take shortcuts. And he had the job of cleaning the windows in the house. Now, he was 2 years older than me. And the old man didn't like him because he was never appreciative. He never did a good job. He was always trying to get out of it. He would lie. He would do a half job and reluctant, and he'd always be like complaining and crying. Oh, why me? Oh, one of those stupid kids. You know, I don't know whether you guys remember Harry Enfield. Oh, why me? the classic Muppet teenager. Well, my elder brother, he was fucking Muppet, and so he would try to what's the word? Shirp. Is that a word? Shirp. He tried to shirp. Skirt? Nah, something like that anyway. It'd always been an avoidance of it, and he had to clean these windows, and we had cottage windows in this house, big bay windows, and there was probably about 120 windows. I think I counted them one time. 120 of these little windows, and in like four big bays, and he used to have to clean them with this window clean. And this window clean stuff in a bottle is like creamy coloured, and you put it on one cloth and you smear it all over, and then you've got another cloth to take it all off. Oh my god, whoever invented that window clean just wanted to fuck with human beings. I'm telling you, it was an alien creation. Because you could never get rid of the smears. It didn't matter, you'd need new cloth after new cloth after new cloth, but if you went like this, it'd still be smeary. And the old woman or the old man would come and they'd look at it like that, and they'd go, it's smeary up there, it's smeary down here, you've not got it all out the corners. Can you imagine 120 small windows like this? And you've got to get in the corner. He wanted to go out and see his mates on a Saturday morning, and he's fucking crying in frustration. He can't get it. And then he started mouthing off, and then the stepmom would go, right, you're on early bed now for your insolence. And that meant that we would have to go to bed straight after our evening meal at 5 o'clock. So in the summertime, when all the mates are out, we'd have to go into bed. Oh my god, can you imagine? And so he'd be like, oh, and then like, you know, be mouthing off, and then the old woman would go, right, you've got 2 nights now, and then he'd be going up the stairs and be mouthing off, and then like, you've got 3 nights now. My old man, he used to go, oh, cunt, you got a fucking week now, and so if you gob off any more, I'll give you a fucking month, okay? And so he'd be in bed for a whole fucking week. And on one occasion, right, when the old man and the old woman went out for a few beers and something to eat, which was very rare, but this was in the early days, and I was probably about 12 and my older brother was 14, and he decided that we're going to make some angel delight, and you know this whippy stuff, you whip it up with milk and it's a pudding. And so, you know, he always had to do everything larger than life. He always had to put fucking sparks and whistles and flutes on everything. And so he got the biggest mixing bowl out of the kitchen cupboard. And he got like, there was 4 packets of this Angel Delight. And we had banana, we had vanilla, and then we had chocolate. And they made different layers. And then at the end... At the end, he was, you know, really, you know, giving it the big one, impressing me, and he was putting stripes on top, you know, patterning before he put it in the fridge to set for half an hour. Anyway, we couldn't wait, and then, is it done yet? And so eventually it was done, and then, you know, we'd start eating it, but we never made any impression on this huge bowl. And so, when the old man and the old woman came back, the old woman noticed there's this bucket full of Angel Delight. And my old man is like, oi, cunt, because he always used to cunt, that's where I get it from. Cunt, come down here. This was when we were in bed. And like, he went down all fucking sheepish and said, you can eat that now for breakfast, dinner and fucking lunch for the rest of the week until it's fucking gone. He's fucking dickwipe. And so... so the next morning when we wake up, we go down to breakfast, instead of having Weetabix and cornflakes and shredded wheat, right, he was eating a bowl of this Angel Delight. And first, right, he thought it was cool, and like we was a little bit envious because like he's got Angel Delight for breakfast, we've just got Weetabix. But then, when he comes back from school and we've all got roast beef or roast chicken, or, you know, we've got like cheese and potato pie or something like that, he's got his Angel Delight. He's sitting at the table with all his kids and he's eating his Angel Delight. Breakfast the next day, Angel Delight. Evening meal the next day, Angel Delight. This went on for 5.5 days before he got through what the old man called a bucket of Angel Delight. That was just like kind of like everyday occurrence in our house of stupid shit going on. The level of austerity, the discipline, you know, it's kind of like, look, he was an idiot for making a bucket using like 4 packets of Angel Delight. One wasn't good enough, one would have been fine, but then he had to have it in layers and striped on the top. And so we, myself and my younger sister and the old man, we never let him live that down. It became a thing. It was like striped Angel Delight. You know, when we'd say like, you know, what's Wayne been doing? It's like, you've probably fucking striped Angel Delight. Meaning that whatever he's doing it larger than life and proper over the top and just bullshit. Oh my God. Anyway, we have very clean and polished saucepans and things like that, because this was imperative in our house. If we didn't polish every single thing, and what we'd have to do, right, and look, you know, I put them in here. The biggest one goes first, the second one third, the second and the third one third. Now we have these which go inside each other like Russian dolls, of course, and that then goes in there, and this one is the same size as one of them, and so that one goes on the top. And then in the drawer here we have everything that is lined up and it's organised. And it's pleasing to the eye aesthetically, but not only that, it's efficient, you see. The old man was very big in efficiency, and so if you've got a drawer with utensils and all over the place, that's most unpleasing, not only visually, but if you're looking for a particular something and it wasn't in the exact same place where it should be, you couldn't find it, and so the old man got pissed off about that. And the old man was good at everything. He was the sort that could do electrical work, he could do plumbing work, carpentry, building work, mechanics, you name it, he could just do everything. And so in his workshop, which was a huge workshop, all these tools that he had, he'd have big wooden boards, which, you know, went about 20 feet. And all the tools would be hanging up on nails. Different size spanners, starting from the biggest, going down, 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 down. Pliers, pincers, hammer for this, hammer for that. They'd all be hanging on nails on the board. But what he'd do was, when all the tools are there, he'd spray over all of the tools. And so when one tool was missing, instantly he could look up and he'd see the effigy. Well, it wasn't painted, the fucking impression or fucking shadow, whatever. And so he taught me to be exactly what he wanted me to be, efficient, and when I ever used any tools, then I'd put them back in the exact same space. And as long as I did that, he'd be happy and I could have a key to the workshop. My elder brother, he wasn't never going to get a key on this fucking planet. And on the odd occasion, then the old man would let him use, you know, some of the tools. What he would always do, he'd use a hammer and a pair of pincers and pliers to do something on his push bike, and then he'd leave them on the driveway in the grass, and then he'd go out on his bike, and then the old man would go up to his shed, and it's kind of like, where's the hammer, the pliers and the pincers? Oi, cunt! Fucking get up here now! And you go up there, where's the fucking gear? Oh, they're down there. Okay, that's it. You don't ever come in my workshop again. You fucked it, boy. You know, what do you think's going on here? You know, you can't allow that shit to go on. And, you know, some of you may think that the old man was, you know, authoritarian and disciplinarian and all that, but he wasn't if you just complied with the rules. You know, if you cleaned your gun and you cleaned your station like I did. And so because of that, then I went on to be successful in business. Owning a removals business, owning the landscape gardening business, owning the building business, and my elder brother, he could never do anything like that. He used to get this job as a sales rep because he's a load of gob, but never come up with the goodies because he never put the work in. And then he'd get sacked here, sacked there, and every single car he drove, he ended up smashing it because he's like, you know, boy racer. And the amount of cars he smashed was just unbelievable. It's amazing that he's alive today, because on one of the cars he smashed, he absolutely rolled it, ripped off the passenger door. He was flung out because he never used to wear a seatbelt, up in the air. And when the car came to land, he landed on the fucking roof of the car. And, you know, even the mag alloys were smashed. There's such a massive impact. And when we were growing up as kids, the people were involved in stealing cars. In the old days, you could steal cars. You know, these days you can't get the steering lock off and all that sort of stuff. And so he'd be stealing all these cars. And then, you know, me and my mates would be out cycling, going to the disco or something, and then we'd see a car in the middle of a road island, and maybe it'd be up against a tree, or it'd be wrapped around a tree, or we're going round an S-bend in the country. You know, I don't know, the old man's taking us on this occasion to buy some shoes from the next village, and then we see this Capri, and it's sticking up like that on the hedge, and I'm like, I know who did that. And then, you know, turns out later, my brother would never tell me, of course, but I heard it from, you know, mutual friends. It was him again. And it's kind of like, every car, he just turned it, rolled it, or did something. Unbelievable. So, finally, what he ended up doing is being a musician, being a pub singer, basically. And he had his band, he was reasonably successful. He used to get, you know, nationwide, you know, bought a van, you know, the gigging van, and there's about 7 members in the van, and they're travelling all around here. And then sometimes they'd get gigs which was on like a cross-channel ferry, like going from Britain to Spain on the ferry or something, and they'd have like, you know, 6-hour stints to do and all this sort of thing. And so that's all he's ever done. And all he does now is he just plays with himself in the boozer, because the bands have all fallen to pieces and everything, and that's all he ever amounted to. And in his house, and I'm often speaking about this, in his house, he bought this house about 35 years ago, and the decoration hasn't changed one iota. The kitchen is, you know, it was old when he bought the house, and the carpet, he doesn't take his shoes off when he walks into the house. Absolutely disgusting, filthy. The settee, honestly, you'd think that I moved a lot of homes, and what I'm saying here is that I would come upon about 5% of the populace who were like him. Dirty fucks like him. And so it seems that he completely went the opposite direction against the old man's authority. He rebelled absolutely with everything. And when we were growing up, he'd have athlete's foot, he'd have kind of like hooks in his back, white hooks in his back, and when he was in the bath, you know, often he'd be and be just spitting in the bath. And then, like, on one occasion, the old man wanted to go to the toilet and said, "Oh, come yourself, I'm coming in." And he's been about 14, 15. And when the old man was having a piss, he saw all these gobs in the... And he just like, my old man just like, "I'm fucking done with you. You just fucking, you know." So the old man, you know, and my older brother never ever got on. And but looking, you see, at the child, this is why the Catholic priests say, give me a boy from 1 to 7 and I'll show you the man. Well, my elder brother would never ever take any discipline, he would never take any advice, he would never toe the line with anything. He'd always got his own idea of how the world was and how he was going to do it and all this sort of stuff. And well, it didn't ever amount to anything. And because he had no attention to detail, he had no orderliness, then there's no way he was ever going to make a business you know, profitable. And so with me, when I ran my removals business, which I did for 10 years, started from one rusty old van, and then I had warehouse premises, offices, storage and 6 vehicles. I bought properties here and there and driving a Jaguar, you know, very successful. And every single I was dotted and T was crossed. And I'd have thousand files of paperwork for the insurance, for the things that my staff would have to sign about the job description and what they needed to do. And every time they went out in a vehicle in the morning, they would have a sheet of vehicle checks. They'd check the tyre pressure, they'd check for stones or for nails, they'd check the engine oil, they'd check the water, then they'd check all the equipment for the job and everything like that. And then by the time they'd done everything, then they put the time they're leaving, and then they go off, and then when they went out of the job, I'd give them a sheet that they had to give to the customer, which the customer signed what time they got there, and what time they left, and you know, any notes about the job, or anything broken, this, that and the other, and then that would be the job sheet, which the guys would have to give to me, and I would see, you know, everything like this, and you know, so I knew exactly where they'd been, and when, and how, and all that, and they all had a uniform and they all had to be you know, very well presented, and in no time at all, you know, I took a good portion of the market of the city, and all of the other removal firms were very impressed and threatened by my company. All the vehicles were pure white, really well kept, with a designed motif of our removal company on the side, and the uniforms were blue, and so they just looked sharp. Whereas other removal firms, they never had a uniform, or maybe it was just like, you know, one shirt, dirty old shirt with a name on, then they'd wear jeans and trainers and all this sort of stuff. Mine wore black polished boots, stay pressed blue trousers with the seams sewed into them, you know. And then, you know, blue shirts and sweaters and jackets with the name in bright yellow on the back, blue jackets, and so just you know, a good quality firm. But what I'm saying here is, people, it's about the attention to detail, and if you haven't had good parenting and you've just been allowed to, you know, do whatever you want to do, and you've lived with mum, you know, until you're 40 years old, and all this sort of stuff, you've had no discipline, you've had no education, nobody's told you, you know, how to clean your teeth and clean your ears, and we had to clean our teeth, wash our face, wet our hair and style our hair and comb it, be fully dressed before we could go down to breakfast each morning. There's no way that any of our family member was ever going to show up for breakfast in their pyjamas with morning breath and sleep in their eyes and hair all over the place. That wasn't happening. And that's respect. And we all benefited, and it was all grateful to that. And then when we grew up, most of us, we kept along with that structure, and, you know, we created nice homes, and, you know, we were successful in whatever we did. Brother, no, he just bombed out. He just bombed out, and now he just lives around the corner, about half a mile away, in the same house with the same dirty carpet, the same wallpaper. After 35 years, come on, people. And I used to say to him, because he suffered from depression a lot, he'd get alopecia, his hair falling out, and then he gets psoriasis all over here with his stress and everything, and I'll try and, you know, help him out, and you know, I'll just say things like you know, certain psychologists say that your home is a depiction of your mind, and I said, what do you feel about that? Hello, psychologists, they say a lot of things. I said, well, don't you think that there's some sense in that? Or there's some... I mean, how do you feel about your mind? I mean, you've got psoriasis, you've got alopecia, you're very depressed and stressed out. There's something not quite right. And if you look at what's going on inside here, look at the house, unkempt, dirty, never a lick of paint or nothing new, don't you think there's something going on? And I'd say to him, I'd say, look, if you want to come out of your depression, then, you know, I'd say that you buy a pot of paint each week or each month, and you paint one wall. And you use bright colours. You introduce yellows, pastel shades and things like that to bring some brightness into your life. He never did it. He never rose out of his depression. He's still the same now. I'd talk to him. Nothing there. There's nothing there. And so, wow. I think I've said enough. I'm supposed to be editing my book, by the way, and you know, it's almost evening meal time for my incredible, wonderful, delicious cheese and potato pie. So I'm going to go and get some cheese, and then I'm going to bang it in the oven, and I'll let you know how that goes.